What's happening, everyone? JayShockblast here, and check it out. Marvel's Midnight Suns is coming in March of 2022 from 2K Games and Firaxis, and I cannot wait. This game looks like it's a ton of fun from the makers of XCOM, and I just think anything Marvel related, I'm always going to be all about it. And what I love about this game is it's focusing on sort of a subset of characters that don't necessarily get as much attention. If you're not familiar with Midnight Suns, it was a comic run that happened in the early 90s, and it focused mostly on supernatural characters, and that's kind of what we're doing here with a little bit of an Avenger flair. And honestly, I just think it's such a cool idea for a game, and I'm really looking forward to it. Yes, it's a card game, and we don't know exactly what all that means, but we've seen a little bit of it, so far, and I think it's something that I'm going to be able to adapt to, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing. So, with that said, we know that there are 3 more characters that need to be unveiled, and obviously that gets my wheels turning, and I want to put together a video of the top 10 characters I would love to see in Marvel's Midnight Suns. And for the record, I am trying to concentrate on more supernatural characters or characters that have had some form of affiliation with the original Midnight Suns. And if you didn't know, there was actually almost a new version of Midnight Suns back in 2018. Greg Smallwood shared some art back then, and I've had it saved on my computer ever since. And it was a really, really cool looking team. I hopefully have it flashing up on the screen right now. It was going to include Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, Blade, Hannibal King, Hellstrom, Punisher, Johnny Blaze, and Jennifer Kale. And if you're not familiar, or you're paying attention, I should say, 3 of those characters are technically in the 9 already. We have Blade and we have Doctor Strange, and then we have a Ghost Rider, even though it's not Johnny Blaze. So that's very, very interesting and possibly telling right there, especially considering a lot of those characters were in the original run of Midnight Suns. So I am very, very intrigued at it. Maybe this is something that inspired this game to exist. The fact that that comic run never ended up happening. Who knows how Marvel thinks how they do. But in any event, let's launch right into my top 10 characters I would love to see in Marvel's Midnight Suns. And for the record, I would love to include Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketch, who are Ghost Riders that have been Midnight Suns before. But with Robbie Reyes already being in the game, I don't think we need 2 or 3 Ghost Riders. So I'd love to kind of focus on some other characters. At number 10, we have Jennifer Kale, who has been a Midnight Sun and is very high in the magical realm, if you will. She rolls with a lot of supernatural characters, especially Doctor Strange and Man-Thing. So I think that she would be perfect. Also, adding another female character to the game would be really cool. Plus, I don't know if you've seen the way she dresses sometimes. Yes, please. Let's get her in there. No, I'm kidding. Anyway. At number 9, we have her good friend, Dani Moonstar, who many of you may have seen in the New Mutants movie if you watched it. Dani Moonstar, obviously, New Mutant, X-Men, Mutant, all that good stuff, and Native American, so that definitely checks a little bit of a box, if you will. She's a very interesting character that I know a lot of X-Men fans really love, and to be able to see her in this type of an environment, in this type of game, I think would be really cool. And that's kind of what I love about Nico Minoru being in here, because I think she's a character, maybe you watch The Runaways on Hulu, but she's a character that we don't get to see enough of, and I would love to see that happen for someone like Jennifer Kale, and especially Dani Moonstar. If you don't remember, Jennifer Kale was in one of the Lego Marvel games as DLC, I think for Doctor Strange in Marvel's Avengers. So, to get Dani Moonstar into a game, I just think that would be pretty cool. At number 8, I'm kind of cheating. I'm doing 2 for the price of 1, Damien Hellstrom and Satana, the offspring of Satan himself. You know, it doesn't get much more supernatural than that. Hellstrom had a show on Hulu, I think it was, that I didn't even watch. It's kind of crazy how under the radar that went. But Hellstrom and Satana, a lot of people are going to be familiar with from Marvel Future Fight. And I just, obviously, supernatural. You know, we're going to fight Lilith. Why not get them in here? Hellstrom has been involved with the Midnight Suns before. It just makes sense. So that's my number 8. At number 7, we have Wiccan. All right, so Wiccan, Young Avenger. We got to see him a little bit in WandaVision. It's definitely a character that Marvel has been pushing, although he's kind of off in space now with you know, the King Hulkling, if you will, if you're following the whole Guardians of the Galaxy run and all that cosmic stuff. But I think Wiccan would be a really great character that represents a lot of things in this type of a game. And I just kind of think of all the powers that, you know, you could see from Wiccan. So that is why I have him at number 7. At number 6, we have Morbius, another character that has been a member of the Midnight Suns. It's definitely a vampire character. He's getting his own movie. You know, this is the perfect type of character that Marvel likes to have to cross-promote a little bit. I just think that it's obviously, you know, vampires, bro. You know, we're going to have vampires. So, like, just get Morbius in there. We did see Morbius in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. So, definitely a character I think would go over really well in this type of a setting. At number 5, we have Punisher. Look, Frank Castle, not supernatural, but he has been a Midnight Sun, and it just makes sense that you would want to pull the Punisher in to something like this. I think of all the ways that you can, you know, use your powers in this game and how the environment and projectiles are going to come into play, and I think he would just be a lot of fun to get into one of those type of strategic style games. And again, Midnight Sun, classic Midnight Sun, you definitely want to consider Punisher when you're considering this game. At number 4, we have Monster Hunter Elsa Bloodstone. Now, we've seen Elsa Bloodstone in a few games now, so it really goes without saying to think that when you have a supernatural game where there's monsters everywhere, you kind of want to bring in a monster hunter, and that is Elsa Bloodstone. She was involved with the whole Monsters Unleashed, I think, is the storyline a couple years ago. So she's definitely a character they've brought to the forefront. She also was involved in another storyline I'll talk about in a moment that involved lots of monsters. So I just don't know how you don't think Elsa Bloodstone isn't gonna be involved here. All right, number 3, we have a character that would have been on my list no matter what, and I almost left her off because I think she's in the game, and that's Scarlet Witch. I don't know this. Nobody said anything behind the scenes, but it seems like there was a point in time when you're watching the video where Wanda is mentioned, and in the latest video that we saw with gameplay footage of Wolverine versus Wolverine and the Hunter versus Sabretooth, we did see them walk around the Abbey, and there was an actual statue to Agatha, and we know it was Agatha all along. So I mean, you watch WandaVision, you know who Agatha Harkness is, and I guess she would have been a good choice too, but it seems like she dead or something to that nature in this universe. So I mean, Scarlet Witch, what can you say that we haven't already said about Scarlet Witch? She's probably one of the most powerful characters in the entire Marvel universe, right up there with Doctor Strange. So again, it just makes sense to have Scarlet Witch in this game. Again, I kind of feel like I'm cheating because I feel like there's enough smoke that there's got to be fire, and I don't know, man. Like, I would love to see how Wanda looks in this game, especially with her Midnight Suns armor. We traditionally see her, you know, more in red, and that would be gold and black, and that would be dope. At number 2, I mentioned Elsa Bloodstone being involved in a cool storyline, and that is the King of the Monsters, Deadpool. Now, Deadpool you wouldn't normally think of in a supernatural environment, but his last few years have been very supernatural. He got married to Shikla, I think that's how you pronounce it, who is a vampire that is now romping it up with Dracula himself. And he has become the king of the monsters, which he took over Long Island, which is where all the monsters live now, apparently. And, you know, that's just been what he's been doing. Even before that, when Brian Posehn was writing for him, he was hunting down dead presidents and stuff like that. Listen, Deadpool has become very supernatural recently. And I think he would be a ton of fun, a little bit of comic relief, if you will, in a game that seems like it's going to be pretty serious. I think what I would love to do with Deadpool the most, because, you know, you can get a Deadpool style gameplay out of Punisher, but what I would love to do with Deadpool the most is hang out at the Abbey and interact with him. I think that has the potential to be so much fun. So, obviously, you know, Deadpool's one of my favorite characters, and I didn't say Nova, right? I didn't say Thor. I don't need to see those guys in this game. I like to focus on things that make sense, and at number 1, there's only one character that I can think of that makes the absolute most sense for this game, and that is Moon Knight, one of the original Midnight Suns. Moon Knight is just supernatural personified. I wouldn't even be surprised if they did a Moon Knight expansion where they focused on Khonshu and all that type of stuff. Like, Moon Knight is perfect for this game, and I want to play as him so bad in this game. He's, you know, got a TV show coming up for Disney Plus. I mean, Oscar Isaac is going to be Moon Knight, and I just think he has to be in this game every bit as much as Scarlet Witch. He's one of my favorite characters, and I'll tell you what, in the next couple days you're going to actually see pictures of me wearing a Moon Knight hat, because I think he's so perfect for this that I wanted to have a hat for a character that I think is going to be in this game, and I picked Moon Knight. So that's my number 1. If you've seen any of the Moon Knight jokes, there's like some memes out there of Moon Knight. I might be flashing some on the screen. They're pretty funny. He calls Dracula a big effing nerd, amongst other things. So, like, I mean, dude, it's freaking Moon Knight. Monsters, supernatural. He's perfect. Let's go. Marvel's Midnight Suns coming March 2022. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments who are some characters you would love to play as in Marvel's Midnight Suns. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you.